This is the best my makeup has ever looked. It lasts the entire day and night, and this is how I did it. After my skincare, I used the Bobbi Brown moisturizer and primer. I then used the NYX corrector concealer on my dark spots and the Too Faced concealer in Chai under my eyes, my nose, my forehead, my chin, and my lip. Next, I lightly blended the corrector concealer on my dark spots, making sure I don't take off the product and just kind of blend it out. Now I'm using the Danessa Myricks Butter Balm as my foundation or my base. I'm going in again with the Too Faced concealer, but now this is like a darker shade, and I'm using that for my contour. I let the concealer sit and get started with my brows. I'm using a brow gel, drying it off. I'm filling my brows in with the Morphe Micro Pen. Now, I like to believe that I have nice full eyebrows, so I just fill in the areas that need a little help. Using the same Too Faced concealer in Chai, I add a little bit to the arch of my eyebrows and blend it out, and with the excess, I kind of add it to the top of my eyebrows. With my beauty blender, I blend out my contour, and then I go in with my cream blush. I use the opposite side of my beauty blender to blend out my concealer. I add the excess concealer from my beauty blender to my eyelids. At this point, it's starting to come together, and I am loving the look. To set the concealer, I'm using the One Size translucent powder. I'm tapping it on my hand to make sure I get a very small amount to add under my eyes and all of the places where I added concealer. I then go in with my powder bronzer to add on all of the places that I added the darker concealer. Once I set my contour, I go in with my powder blush. I'm using the Morphe Trio blush palette in Cabana Club. For my eyes, I like to keep it super neutral, so I'm going into my crease with the darker color, and then on my lid, I'm using a little bit of gold. Applying that to the center and blending it outwards. And I'm using a shimmer white in the inner corners of my eyes. For my lips, I love a deep brown liner, and I go in with a pink lip gloss. Back to my eyes, I'm doing a cat eye. It's a staple for me, and I think it completely changes my look. Now, the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray is that girl. I spray it before I add my mascara because I shut my eyes pretty tight, and usually like it smears everywhere if I don't put my mascara first. But I add a lot of mascara on top and a little bit on the bottom. I add some powder right under my contour to kind of define that line. And finally, I add the One Size setting spray, and that completes the look. My makeup used to literally only last like 2 hours, but now it can last until the next day. Thanks to my sister Mary for teaching me her tricks. That's it. Bye.